Hey, what's going on everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Philippe back here. Now, today it's going to be a tutorial video and I'm going to show you how you can start calisthenics at home with no equipment. It's something that everybody wants to get into, but you're not quite sure how to start. So let me take you through the step-by-step method in today's video. So when it comes to starting calisthenics, like I said, you don't really need much equipment. Now, there's going to be 5 simple levels to this, and calisthenics is basically all about levels. It's kind of like a video game, and it's really for everyone because for everything you see, every skill you see, there's a progression below it that you can start with and build your way up to that skill that you see. For example, like the front lever, you maybe see the full front lever, but you're not quite sure how to start, and some people just go with attempts, but the best way to start would be to do a tuck front lever and then just advance it with further progressions and then eventually getting you to a full front lever. So calisthenics is all about mastering the pushing, pulling, core strength, and you don't really focus too much on legs, although a lot of people do ask about legs. You can train legs with calisthenic movements, but they're more functional movements and they will not grow your legs how bodybuilding exercises and gym exercises can. So if you're looking to do leg training, I recommend sticking to a regular gym routine and a weighted leg day rather than doing calisthenic just body weight squats, because it's just not enough load that you can put on your body in order for them to grow. So this is why I just recommend avoiding leg day with calisthenics, unless you're into your mobility and you want to gain a more functional performance. But later on down the line, you won't be able to train legs when you get into harder skills because you need to keep your legs super engaged, and they also need to be flexible. And if you're training them all the time, it's really difficult to stretch. So this is why calisthenic athletes don't train legs. It's a joke, but that is truly why. So anyways, without further ado, starting with pushing, how we're gonna start is a simple push-up. All you need is the floor, and level number 1 is going to be to master kneeling push-ups. Okay, I think everybody can do this. If this is too difficult, then maybe try walking or something, because everybody can start here. It's for all levels, and once you get to about 8 to 10 reps, I would say you're ready to move up to the next level. So the next level up would be to go for incline push-ups. Now you can start with quite a high incline. Okay, make sure your chest is always in line with your hands. Okay, so think of your thumbs to be in line with your lower chest or just below your nipple line. And the reason why you have to lean forwards in a push-up is so that you can push through your chest and you can keep your elbows tucked in, because if your elbows flare out, you put extra stress on your shoulders, and that's not really what we're working in a push-up. It's done through the chest and the triceps. Okay, and then as you progress, you can go lower and lower, and if you're at something with this level, you can even go to regular push-ups. And like I said, 8 to 10 reps of each progression is a good indication to tell you that you're ready to move up. Now, if you want to advance the push-up, there's a few routes you can take. And you can kind of see where this is going. You can take your feet up and put yourself on a decline, doing decline push-ups. You can make the decline higher. Just try to maintain your push-up position, because what you don't want to do is have your hips too high and again have your elbows flaring out. You want to stay over your hands, keep leaning forward, squeeze your butt, and make sure you push tall through the scapula. You don't want to perform push-ups like this as well, so make sure to push tall and have a strong shape, through pushing through your scapula. Come down all the way, push up all the way. Now there's a few more ways you can advance this with some variations, like going closer with diamond push-ups. Okay, this one requires you to use more of your tricep, okay, because you have your hand position a lot closer, which promotes your elbows to be even more tucked in. Okay, then you have wide push-ups, which I think is one of the more easier variations, although it's a little bit more uncomfortable on the shoulders because your arms naturally flare out. So again, don't make the mistake of having your hands too high and performing your push-ups like this. Make sure to lean over your hands, keep your elbows tucked in, and push up all the way. And then there's more advanced variations, but because this is a beginner video, I'm not going to share those with you today. And when it comes to pulling, you might not have access to any bars to be able to perform any pulling exercises like pull-ups or a front lever. So I'm going to show you how to make use of your pulling muscles just using the floor and no equipment at all. For your placement, what you're going to do is just simply lay on the floor and then make sure to point your toes and have your arms in a 90-degree position. And we're basically going to replicate a pull-up with this exercise called the Y prone. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to lift, extend our arms out, try keep them up, try not to let them fall. And then we're going to pull back in and squeeze your shoulder blades like you're doing a pull-up, okay? Make sure to lift your feet and squeeze your glutes, and then you can come down and relax between each rep. So up, extend out, pull back, squeeze, and then relax, okay? You want to really focus on being in tune with your body and really engaging the correct muscles, and you're really trying to imagine that you're doing a pull-up. And what this will help is it's going to help build mind-muscle connection, which is really important. And when you're a calisthenic beginner, that's one of the things you have to master, is to learn how to, you know, be in tune with your body, because the more in tune you are, the better, and that's how you will progress onto skills. Because skills, it requires a certain amount of strength to build up to, and then it's all about technique. And to understand the technique, you have to be in tune with your body. The next exercise is just going to be Superman lifts. So you maybe can imagine how this one looks, maybe not, but you're going to be in a laying position, extend your arms all the way out. Make sure to engage everything and keep everything tight. And then we're just going to try and lift and squeeze everything as much as we can. Okay, so lift, and you're trying to extend your body out. Imagine someone's pulling your arms and legs. Okay, and you should get that shortness of breath as you lift, because you're squeezing everything you can. And this is another great variation to be able to train back just using the floor. The next one, and this is good for shoulder mobility, is going to be snow angels. So we're going to lift, and then we're going to circle our hands around and then come back and relax. So lift, put your hands behind your head or your back, and then come back down again. Okay, so same sort of thing with squeezing. I'm trying to extend my arms out as much as I can. I'm keeping everything engaged, okay? You're not just doing the exercise like loose and like saying, oh, I can't feel anything, because you're not trying, man. And so like I said, you know, you have to be in tune with your body. This is the best calisthenic tip that I can give to any beginner, is when you learn to understand what's where and what's working at a certain time, that is when you're becoming in tune with your body, and it's going to help you so much later down the line. Okay, and the last exercise is probably maybe the hardest one, or the one you will feel the most. That's why I saved it to last. Although there's no progression ladder to these exercises, what you're going to want to do is have a towel, and then you're just going to simply roll it up, and it's almost going to replicate like a bar, okay? And so what you're gonna do with the towel is you're basically gonna try do pull-ups laying down, and these are called towel pulls, okay? So again, you're gonna go in that same position, and almost like the very first exercise we did, the Y prone, okay, where you're gonna be in this sort of shape, and then you're going to lift, extend the towel out, and then you're gonna pull the towel apart like you're trying to rip it and pull it below your chin. And you can see, even I'm shaking because I'm trying to pull the towel apart. It'd be pretty funny if I actually did, but it's super tough. So that's what you want to focus on, and stay up off the floor the whole time. Focusing on high reps, and again, when it comes below your chin, really focus on squeezing your back and your shoulder blades together, really pinch the elbows behind you, okay? And it's gonna help you feel your back a ton. And even if you're traveling and you are already training and you don't know what to do because there's no pull-up bar around, you can do this simple exercise. Every hotel has a towel, so you can do this 3 sets of 15. It's definitely gonna give you a nasty back pump. I already feel it after those 5 reps, so you know, this is definitely probably one of the best ones you can do with minimal equipment. I mean, everyone has a towel at home, so I don't call it equipment. Now, going into pushing, we're no longer gonna work on horizontal pushing, but vertical and overhead pushing, okay? And this is basically the basic progressions to work towards a handstand push-up, okay? So we're gonna start in a simple pike hold. So we're gonna start on our hands and knees, and then what we're trying to do is pike up our hips, lift our hips, okay? In the beginning, you're gonna have your hips quite far back and they're not going to be so far over your hands, okay? And that's okay in the beginning, but as you progress, I want you to go more onto your toes, go more over your hands, okay? Allow your hips to be higher, and then try to keep your shoulders open, okay? Try not to lean forwards like this and close your shoulder angle, because we also want to train that overhead mobility. And a lot of people struggle with having their hands fully above their head, and they will stop here because they're super tight in their traps. Usually if you have a sedentary lifestyle and you're sitting behind a desk, your traps get really tight and it's really difficult to open the shoulders. So an exercise like this, where you're actively trying to keep the shoulders open and trying to bring your chest to your thighs while being in a pike, is really going to help you out. And this is the most basic progression for the next exercise, which is going to be the pike negatives, okay? So we're going to focus on the negative part of the push. So you're going to lift into a pike position just like you've been practicing, and then you're going to slowly lower down. Make sure to come forwards and not directly into your hands, because the main mistake people make is when performing a pike push-up, they try to bring their head in line with their hands, and that promotes our elbows to flare out. And no, we're never trying to do this, because again, it puts stress on the wrong areas. So you have to lean forwards, and the vertical push is more diagonal, okay? So the head always comes forwards, and then as you push back up to the vertical position, okay? So lift up into the pike, come forwards, try keep your elbows tucked in, and then once your face comes close to the floor or wherever your maximum point is, just slowly lower your knees, reset again. Again, like I said, the 8 to 10 reps mark is enough strength to build up to the next progression, which is going to be pike push-ups, of course. So now we're gonna work on being in the pike position, come all the way down, and then push all the way back up. And make sure to open the shoulders all the way. Don't just stop here. Just because your arms are fully extended doesn't mean you've done the full range of the movement. So come forwards, push all the way back, try keep the shoulders open. Drive through your palms as well. That's a really good tip I can give you, okay? And then as you come forwards, make sure your eyes are always looking ahead. And then when you push back, you can look back just to get, you know, the extra range of motion, and so it's easier to open up the shoulders. Now, if you want to advance this movement, you can just elevate your feet, just like the decline push-ups. So simply just elevating your feet is going to make this movement a ton harder, and then eventually, once you find a surface that you can elevate your feet really high, then you can go to wall handstand push-ups. But again, that's not beginner, so you know, for the sake of today's video, we're gonna keep it here, and I'll leave you with this last progression. So you can start in an elevated pike hold, okay? You will start with having your hips not over your shoulders and your hands, and then eventually go more onto your tiptoes, so then you're more stacked, okay? Once the pike hold becomes more comfortable, same technique, you come forwards and then push all the way back through. Stay on your toes, okay? And then once you get to 8 to 10 reps, again, you can start advancing it to higher levels, and then eventually wall handstand push-ups. But this is gonna be the last progression for the pushing exercises. So on to the next one. And because you've stayed this long in this video, I appreciate you, and I'm gonna give you a bonus tip. So for any of these progressions, you can start with the partial range of movement, okay? And this is a really big tip that has helped me out with some more advanced skills is, you know, to get used to the range of motion and the push-up variations, you can just start with simple, small range of movement, okay? So always focus on having a good scapular position in the top part of the movement, and then come down to where it feels challenging and then push back up, okay? And then gradually, as you gain the strength, you can come lower and lower until you go all the way down. Same goes with the pike push-up in the beginning. Small baby reps, just focus on the top part of the range of the movement. The top part of the range of motion, to be correct. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, and then as you get stronger, you can go lower and lower until you come all the way down and you're able to perform the full range of movement. And this goes with any progression, even when you're trying to go to the next one. Let's say you're on the pike push-up, but you want to give the elevated pike push-ups a go. Still try to keep stable form and just keep the reps a lot shorter, shorten that range of movement, and then over time build it up more and more. But of course, I really recommend mastering each of the progressions, you know, getting a good amount of reps. I mean, 8 to 10 is more than enough, but if you want to go to 12 to 15, then you're going to really build a super solid base. It just takes a little bit longer, and I know some of you are impatient. Okay, now, like I said in the beginning, I said pushing, pulling, and core strength, okay? So onto the last section of the video where I'm gonna show you the core drills you can do to build up a strong core. But you have to remember, eventually you're gonna get to a point to where you're no longer training these because these are not as challenging as some of the other skills you'll be practicing. And calisthenics is all compound exercises. What a compound exercise means is that you're using more than one muscle group at the same time to perform the movement, as where an isolation exercise is you're just focusing on isolating one muscle group to perform the exercise, okay? This is usually known as a method in bodybuilding where they're isolating one muscle group. For example, bicep curl, you just isolate the bicep, okay? But in pull-up, for example, you're using your lats, forearms, biceps, rear delts, traps, you know, your core even. And so, you know, as the exercises advance, you do use a lot of muscle groups at once. And so your core is very active in a lot of the exercises. That's why you don't need to actually focus on core after a certain amount of time, but it's really good to do in the beginning, okay? So the best exercise and the one to really master as a beginner is the hollow body hold, okay? To perform the hollow body hold, what you're going to do is lay flat on the floor, completely relaxed. Now, if you put your hands underneath your back, you're gonna notice naturally it's not plush to the floor and it's lifted off, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to try to lift up your the back of your shoulders off the floor, and you're gonna feel your lower back is gonna go plush into the floor, and that's the shape we want to maintain with our upper body. So we're trying to create a hollow shape, okay? The hollow body. And so a tip I can give you is if you lift your arms up above your hips, try and keep your wrists above your hips. So that's how far you should lift them, not too high, not too low, not too wide, just shoulder width apart, and then lift them until they're still in line with your hips. And then imagine someone's pulling the hands, and that's going to lift the shoulders off the floor, keeping that lower back nice and plush. And then you're going to try to lift your legs, but it's going to be really difficult to maintain this position. So in the beginning, lift your legs quite high, okay? Some people say you can start in a tuck, but I don't think so. Just already go into the straight leg position, and then as you gain more and more strength, lower, 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 until you get to this point, okay? I don't want you to do negatives like this, okay? Just hold it, but I'm just showing the different levels. So you can hold it here. Once this gets easy, lower down, hold it here until you get to just being above the floor, okay? It's a really good core exercise, and when it's done correctly, it definitely burns like crazy, okay? And it's gonna give you a good solid foundation. Also remember to squeeze your legs, point the toes, try really have the whole body engaged, because you know, in a lot of the calisthenic exercises, you need to maintain a tight shape with your body, you know, including your legs, your arms, your core, you know, and so this is why a lot of calisthenics have a really lean and muscular physique, is because they're always engaging in every exercise. And so this exercise is a perfect example to learn that, and it's going to help you so much in the skills later on. And as a thank you again to staying this long in the video, I'm actually going to teach you your very first calisthenic skill, which is going to be the L-sit. And if you've built up enough arm strength and some core strength from the hollow body, you're definitely ready to try and learn this. This is a really great skill because it's a transitional piece to a lot of combos in calisthenics. And what combos mean is when you're putting more than 2 to 3 skills together. So for example, you would do a straddle planche, go into an L-sit, then you can press up to handstand, and then finish with a 90-degree push-up. That would be a combo. So that's 3 skills, you know, mixed together, and in between you're doing the L-sit. So it's super important to learn, I think, and it's gonna continue to build a lot more core strength and body awareness, okay? So now I'm using parrallettes in this video, and you can check these out. These are from Gore Nation, and you can support me by using my code and save yourself some money off these parrallettes. But I'm not trying to promote them. You know, you don't have to get this brand, but the parrallettes are gonna make the L-sit so much easier, because doing it on the floor takes a really good amount of scapular mobility and strength, which takes a little bit of time to build. So if you have the parrallettes, it's gonna give you some height, making it so much easier to learn, and it's gonna save so much time, so you're gonna be a lot quicker at learning this, okay? So to start, what you're trying to focus on is keeping the arms straight, and you wanna try and push your scapula as far down as you can, okay? So this is called the scapular depression, okay? So there's 4 ways of movement, but maybe we'll talk about that in another video. If you're interested, let me know in the comments below. So you're gonna focus on the scapular depression. So pull your shoulders away from your ears as much as you can. Have your arms nice and straight. And then what you're going to do is you're going to tuck your knees in and try and lift your feet up. Keep your chest up, and this is called the tuck L-sit, okay? So it's just a simple L-sit progression. You're basically shortening the leverage by bringing your legs closer to the center mass of gravity, which is your hips in this case, okay? So you're making it much easier, and then as you progress, you're gonna extend out. But the next progression and the best exercise to build up strength for the L-sit is core compressions, okay? So this exercise, in the very beginning, you're probably gonna hate it because it does hurt. Some people say it's the quads, but it's not the quads, it's the hip flexors, okay? And that's a very important muscle that's working in the L-sit, okay? So what you're going to do to start learning this is make sure to not round forwards and have a slouched posture. So make sure to be nice and straight, chest up, and then your back nice and straight, okay? And you're going to place your fingertips in line with your knees, ideally, but in the beginning, you can have them a bit closer to your hips, okay? Try and maintain upright and just lift your feet. Try keep your legs as straight as you can. Try not to lean back, okay? And again, try not to slouch forwards. But the ideal position is to have them in line with your knees, and as you advance, you can lean a bit more forwards and do this exercise, okay? You're gonna focus on high reps, 12 to 15, and you're gonna feel cramps in your quads, but it's your hip flexors. It's because your hip flexor is really long, and it goes, you know, to even halfway up your quad, down your quad, I mean. So that's why you're gonna feel it in that area, and you're probably gonna be swearing, but the more you do it, the easier it gets, and you're gonna get so much stronger, and it's not gonna cramp your quads, and it's gonna give you the sufficient strength in order to learn the L-sit. And you can really learn the L-sit within your first 2 weeks of doing calisthenics. So now back to the parrallettes. Now that you've built up the strength with the pike compression leg lifts, now you're ready to try the L-sit, and it's gonna feel very similar to that exercise. So if you've actually been strengthening it, it's not going to be a struggle for you by the time you come to try it. What you can do in order to prepare is simply just, again, learn the activation of the scapula. You can lift one leg just to get a feeling for it. And then when you're ready, what you're going to do is I recommend going from a tuck position and then just try to extend your knees out. Okay, so strong scapular position, extend your knees out, and then hold. Okay, ideally you want to hold for at least 5 seconds. For contest requirements, you have to hold at least 3 seconds, but it's not really that long in analysis. So try hold it for 5 seconds, and then over time, build up your time to 10, 15, 20, and so on. And once you got it for 20 seconds, you'll be at a pretty good level, and you can really start applying it to some of your combos as a transitional skill. So that's how you learn calisthenics at home with no equipment needed. Although I did use equipment at the very end with the parrallettes, but you can simply replace them with stacking some books. All you need to do is just elevate yourself, so it's a lot easier on your scapular mobility, and it's easier to hold that L-sit. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a like and a comment. Your support is very much appreciated. I'm extremely hot. It's so freaking humid here in Indonesia. Next week we're gonna be in Dubai, and I know I'm sorry that I didn't film any content or vlogs while I was out here, but the conditions weren't really filmer friendly, and that's why. So it disheartened me a little bit because I feel like my YouTube has been going great, you know, and thank you so much for 40,000 subscribers. Like, I can't believe that, because I mean, last month I was thanking you for 20K, now I'm on 40K, and it's just crazy, like, you know, that my YouTube is growing, and I can't thank you enough, you know, because it's something I wanted to do for a while, and I really look forward to making more videos. I have some great ideas, and when the filming conditions are right, I'm definitely going to be making them. So see you in the next one. Peace.